Sirhowy is a deprived community, its official assembly tells us. But at the S.T.A.R group, Sirhowy Tenants and Residents, we want to change that. One way we felt we could do that was to tell the story of our community, and we certainly chose an interesting way to do that. Working with a sculptor, Rebecca Buck, we created a statue out of brick clay. After thousands of hours of volunteer time, learning about the history of the area and by shaping the clay, our final work, a 6-foot-long statue, stands proud on Sirhowy Village Green. Called the Griffin, a reference an old, now demolished pub that once stood near the green, and to the mythological past. We tend to think that history in the valley started with the Industrial Revolution, but the statue depicts an early Sirhowy as described by Archbishop Cox at the end of the 17th century. We ascended the side of the hill and continued along an elevated ridge through thickets, cornfields and meadows sprinkled with hamlets and watered by numerous torrents and overlooking the Sirhowy. Features of this vale are more wild and romantic than those of the Ebw. It is narrower and deeper, laid out in meadows to the edges of torrent, which rose in a profound abyss obscured by overhanging trees. This romantic landscape contained the raw materials for change. Rich in wood, coal and iron ore, Sirhowy soon became an industrial hothouse. Small furnaces had been operated from the very early times, but the main driver for the growth of Sirhowy was the ironworks. Work started in 1778, and as it grew, so did the population. In 1818, the works were acquired by the Vale Company. This caused tension and animosity between the communities of Sirhowy and Tredegar, which resulted in many a street brawl. The ironworks brought both good and harm to the area. Whilst in full blast, the works provided well-paid work for the community, both in the ironworks itself and mines and quarries feeding the hungry furnaces. Industrialists made and lost fortunes. Engineers working for the company were at the forefront of new technology. The statue features St. David's engine built only a few years after Stephenson's rocket by Thomas Ellis of Sirhowy. Some think this engine pulled the first paying train travellers, taking them down the Sirhowy Valley. But with the good came the bad. For the average worker, living conditions were poor. Housing was built quickly to accommodate the growing workforce. Sanitation was appalling and overcrowding was normal. Diseases and early death were common. The work was hard and dangerous, leading to injury and fatal accidents. Victorian businessmen thought nothing of employing very young children. They were cheaper and smaller. One of the jobs they felt was suitable for a child was working as a trappie, opening and closing ventilation doors in a mine. A visitor in 1842 described the working conditions of these children. The situation of these poor things is distressing. With his solitary candle cramped with cold and wet and not half fed, the pit child deprived of light and air passes his silent day. If you study the statue closely, you will see a trappy boy reaching out and holding the hand of a child from today. The statue looks back on the past and causes us to reflect on the future. But as we have done in the past, we need to work together as a community to create positive change. In the S.T.A.R group, we are working for that change on a practical level, running a food co-op and credit union, organising educational and social events, working to make Sirhowy a proud, positive and inspired community.